Hello, this is my 1992 Chevrolet Corvette, and this is kind of my little project car that I picked up not too long ago. I picked it up off this man, which had it sitting, and my goal is kind of to fix it up and see if I can get it up and running. So currently this is kind of where it sits at right now. It has the engine, but it's missing all the front, the radiator, the AC components, and the intake and everything. And the car does turn over and start, but I think the main issue with the car right now, I go in here, main issue, and it's relatively clean for what I got it. It was a pretty good deal, I think. You know, interior, exterior is like not too bad. I was doing some work with the fuel tank. I guess the fuel pump was bad, but then now it's sending fuel to the front. But as I was saying, right now the VAT system seems to be the thing that's kind of like kicking in and ruining everything. The car will turn over, and we have that little thingamabob right there, which has the rat resistance to the key. Since I used an ohm meter to measure the key volts or resistance, and it ended up being key number 2, which has a resistance of 523 ohms. And we have that hooked up, which matches the exact same thing, and it lets us crank the engine over, but it still fails at shooting the injectors, so no fuel is actually getting into the engine. And over there we have the fuel starter, which we can actually run the engine on once it cranks over, but it just doesn't deliver any fuel to the injectors. So I tried looking up online to see if there was any sort of way that I could wire up one of those signal generators to enable fuel, but there's no straightforward kind of video or instruction on how to do that. So I think the next best thing is to order a chip extender thing for the PCM, which I got from PCMofNC. So I ended up getting that, and then now I'm just gonna have to wait for it to arrive in the mail, because at first I thought maybe the voltage was too low because the battery that it had ended up being a bad one. I swapped that out, and it still does the same thing. It cranks over and it wants to start, but it just has no fuel delivery. And so this is kind of where it's sitting at right now, because other than that, it's a pretty clean title. It does have pretty old tires, so those will have to be replaced, and the body is in pretty good condition. It just needs a little polish, and it'll probably look real nice. The front bumper's a little faded, and all the parts, thankfully, are in the car. You know, here's the front. I was trying to mess with or check out all the wires, make sure there were none missing or disconnected that could be causing the issue, but everything's kind of in here. I'm just waiting for the engine to kind of start up and run on its own. Once I have that guaranteed, I can probably put it all back together, make sure it has coolant, and get it all up and running properly with all its components, and then it should be ready to go. Like I said, I picked it up for a pretty good steal, I think, because it comes with the 6-speed manual, which from what I'm seeing online and looking at other ones posted is pretty rare. Yeah, I mean, overall the car is in pretty solid condition. I'm really happy with the purchase. I just need to get it up and running, and I'll be even more happy. But yeah, this is kind of like its current state. If anyone's interested on the progress or how I get this up and running, please let me know, because I feel like this is a pretty sweet pickup, pretty nice condition, and I think we can get it nice and clean, especially the interior. I think I can vacuum that up, get it all nice and vacuumed up. Everything's pretty clean. It's at 78,000 miles, which I think is relatively low for the year 1992. It's just that dang VAT system that kind of is getting in the way. You know, I have all the components here in the bag that I can slap together, hopefully once I can get that engine running on its own, because the plan is to just crank it over, make sure it can run on its own fuel, it's by itself, because right now not even the belt's connected. Once I have that guaranteed, slapping everything back together, the belt, the radiator, the intake, and all the AC components and everything, even though I don't think I'll be able to recharge that AC, just because of the liquid that it needs for the AC is kind of discontinued now, so I'm gonna have to probably run it without AC. But other than that, it's pretty solid, I think. Just a little detail in here, and I think it should be good to go, because from what I can tell, everything works. The back latch, the power seats, So I'm just gonna wait for that chip to arrive and hope for the best. But yeah, but if anyone's interested on seeing this running, you know, just drop a comment if anyone's watching, and yeah, I'd love to share the progress on how this gets up and running.